Hello there, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Ungainly Titan here, and this is not the video I actually intended to do for tonight. Originally I'd actually planned to do an Everwinter Nights video, but I haven't really had the opportunity to put the preparation work into that. I have the Black Lake District completed, and I actually had, I'm all the way up to the boss fight, but I wasn't actually built the character properly to actually complete the boss fight. At the very end of chapter 1, so I'll have to go through the game again, which I haven't actually gotten around to doing because I've been playing other games that I have had sitting in my Steam library for quite some time, or maybe not quite some time in some cases. Things like Fort Triumph, which is relatively recent, but I had XCOM 2 sitting around on my hard drive for well over a year. Possibly 2 years since they were in the drive. I'm not sure how old XCOM 2 is. XCOM 2 might have been only there for a year, but I've had it there for quite some time. And I had Civ 6 as well, which I had played a few times, but I hadn't really gotten into or studied in any great detail in order to sort of actually become proficient in it. Now, I don't think Civilization 6 is a suitable game for YouTube videos. It would be more of a game for streaming, I think. But the others would actually make decent YouTube videos at some point in the future. However, this is one I wanted to get back to. But that is not really what I planned tonight either, because I knew by today or yesterday even that I wouldn't get this particular game done. I wasn't too sure what it was that I planned to do for tonight, but I made the whole thing kind of moot by buying a book last night. I've been meaning to get back into reading certain old series that I really enjoyed, or books that I kind of wanted to read the first time around and never got around to doing it. Some of them aren't available in Kindle format at any rate. Some are, and some I have. Well, I didn't have them in Kindle format when I read them originally in paperback or whatever, and I don't maybe have copies of them anymore. And one of them was the 1632 book, the start of the 1632 series by Eric Flint. I've read a few alternative histories over the year, and generally I have found them to be somewhat unsatisfying because they tend to be a little bit too neat and a little bit too pat, and sometimes the main protagonists seem to be just a little bit too competent. Not that the 1632 universe, when you look down at it, seems to be full of people who are probably far more capable than have any right to be. Particular sympathy for the common man aside, as Eric Flint has. Not that I'm saying that he completely disagree with him, but it's just a little bit. Everybody in the town seems to be capable of great and mighty things, and I think that's going a little too far. But that said, I enjoyed it and I always found it great as a light read, and I particularly enjoy the fact that it's not terribly neat. The influence of the fans and of the fan fiction and the writers coming into it via fan fiction and the short stories and the Graphic Gazette created an alternative history that is closer in feel to real history, in my opinion, than most other alternative histories that I've come across. So why does this stop me from doing a video? Well, the main reason it stopped me from doing a video is when I bought the book. After doing today's video, I started reading it and kept reading it, and finally went to sleep around 4 in the morning, but I hadn't finished it because I'd finished the video, I don't know, it was probably around 1:30 or something like that in the morning. So about 4 in the morning finished the thing, and I didn't get up very early today, but I got dragged out of bed by a nephew who needed a lift somewhere, and then I came home and I finished reading the book and then turned around and bought the next one in the series. So that left me around 8 o'clock this evening with no video and nothing really prepared to get a video from. So I thought I'll do a World of Warships video. I'll go back and I'll just play some games of World of Warships, and maybe I'll have a decent game. And I'll play a few games, and I'll just find the best one and show it up as a video. That proved to be rather problematic. Now that I'm no longer in the paddling pool section of the World of Wargames EU World of Warships server, or Wargaming's EU World of Warships server. The queue times for low tier games can actually be quite long. The first couple of games weren't too bad, but they weren't anything special in terms of gameplay. In fact, one of them was really poor in terms of a game that you'd show on YouTube, because I spent most of my game blundering around the edge of the battlefield, not really running into anybody. And my usual problems showed through. The long range gunnery was pretty atrocious. My ability to drive into torpedoes was solid and as reliable as ever. And overall, you know, not great. But the biggest thing was the queue times were actually quite long. Like I said, the first two games weren't too bad. They were like 2 minutes or so, but then it got 2.5 minutes for another game. And the last time I attempted to do it, it was 3.5 minutes and counting. Probably up close to 3 minutes 40 seconds. When I bailed and I said, right, this isn't going to work. This is too long a queue time. I'm going to crack myself up if I'm in long queues like this. What would be the best thing to do? So I decided to check out co-op mode again, and I could see myself playing co-op mode quite a bit, because I was doing it actually in the tier 3 ship, the St. Louis. But the main reason is that the queue times are actually really short. They were less than a minute in every case. The opposition is, of course, invariably bots. But the allies apparently are bots if the queue time gets too long. It's supposed to, if the queue time goes beyond 30 seconds, they'll start substituting in bots for players that are unavailable. But in practice, I think you're probably there about a minute in full before it launches the game. Anyway, as far as I can tell. Now, I tried co-op mode when I first played the game, but I was in the kiddie pool version of the game at the time. And what I found about the kiddie pool version of the co-op game is that it was way too easy. I mean, it was really too easy. The ships were too easy to hit. And their gunnery was just as poor as it was for any of the bots that you saw, any of the gunnery you saw in the period where I was playing in the kind of kiddie pool version of the game. Now, I should make note that I've only had about 3 games in the grown-up version, shall we say, co-op battles, as comparison to the 50-odd games that I've had overall in the kiddie pool version of World of Warships. And the thing that I can say is, in the grown-up version of co-op battles, at least one of the 3 battles that I've seen, hitting the ships is not a trivial exercise anymore. They're moving at a fair old lick, and they do turn and take evasive action quite substantially. So, I mean, I don't even have a hit yet. Yeah, I got 1 piece of damage there, it looks like. And there's another salvo going in, and that was a bit of damage, a couple of penetrations. Or is it 1 penetration? Yes. So yeah, that kind of stuff. You will get your sort of hits, but they're not as easy as I remember them to be when you're on the sort of the training wheels version. But at the same time, the red ships are not as opportunistic. They won't kind of farm damage or hunt prey on low, weak defensive ships in the way you'll find it in ranked battles or in random battles. So you'll see an actual good example coming up of what I mean. I'm coming around the point of this island, the one that's just nearest to me, and there is 2 enemy cruisers and 2 destroyers at the other side, and I have an allied destroyer and an allied cruiser with me. We're outnumbered, but not hugely, and at the initial situation, effectively I'm safe from the destroyers, and I have just the cruisers to worry about. However, unbeknown to myself, I am cruising at 3/4 speed right towards the edge of the map, and I'm doing it in the presence of 2 enemy cruisers and 2 destroyers. Now, the destroyers are a long way away just yet, but they'll be here pretty shortly. So I am prioritizing this target and this enemy cruiser in front of me, and I have managed to get a few hits, managed to pick up a few more hits, and I think at this stage we're in a very strong position. Actually, I managed to pick up the sinking of that ship, and the remaining enemy cruiser is actually in very poor shape physically. There's very few hit points left. However, I do feel that in similar circumstances, if it was human opposition running those destroyers, they would have used the opportunity to put a spread of torpedoes into me as I hit the barrier at the edge of the map here, and was completely at their mercy and completely unable to maneuver off the edge of the map for the moment. So this is probably a real good way to learn the basics of the game, to learn how to drive your ship, and to learn the gunnery objectives of the game without being beat about the noggin by seal clubbers coming down to test their mettle and train up captains against assorted noobs who don't know any better and aren't capable of inflicting more damage on them because they just can't hit anything. It is, I suppose, similar to using the war stories to gain experience in playing World of Tanks without going into 15v15 hostile battles or random battles from the get-go. In other words, a way of avoiding being the seal for the seal clubbers. And it will get me the experience I need with gunnery and probably with the ship maneuvering. I think the torpedoing is probably lackluster. Those guys, if there were people, I think would have been a lot better and more efficient at it, and it's very unlikely I would have survived. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and a share. Feel free to comment. Please subscribe if you have not already done so. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all again soon. Bye for now.